Hello peeps!
Hi guys, today's project is a little project called Pihole. Now this was originally designed for the Raspberry Pi, but can be utilised to work onto Ubuntu via a virtual machine or an old PC that can be wiped and reloaded with Ubuntu, and then we install the Pihole software. So let's go ahead, go to the website and let's just have a quick look. If we do a search for Pihole, there's the original Raspberry Pi installed there, and there's the actual development side of it in here. We're actually going to download Ubuntu first, but to do that I'm going to do that on my actual server so that we've got Hyper-V. So we've got Hyper-V Manager, and we're going to create a new machine, a virtual machine, and we're going to call it probably Ad Blocker rather than Pihole, as we're not using the Raspberry Pi. Generation 1 machine. I'm going to give it 2 gig initially, perhaps even turn on a bit of dynamic RAM. I'm going to pick my internal network card. Ad Blocker, I'm just going to change the name of that slightly because I might have already had it installed once, which is just the hard disk name, and that's where they're stored on my server. We're going to install the operating system later because I haven't downloaded the Ubuntu ISO yet. So that makes the basic machine, and I'm just going to go into the settings on that machine and just give it a little bit more resource. So at the moment it's only got 1 core, so I'm going to probably give it 4. And if you expand this out, give it a few more numeric cores. And on here I'm going to actually do the startup as 2048 as well. Try again, 2048, and I'm probably just going to put it as 4096 as the maximum memory, as long as my server can cope with that amount of memory, because it's not got much. Okay, so that's ready now. Now we need to kind of download Ubuntu. So if we just Google search Ubuntu download, and it's Ubuntu desktop we're after. So if you click on the link, that's the one, Ubuntu desktop download, and then you have to just go down the page and say not now on the donations, and I'm just going to download it straight to my desktop. Okay, let's give that a minute or so. Minutes left. Well, I'm just going to pause the video while that downloads. Okay, so that's finished downloading. So let's get back into the virtual machine manager, and we're just going to go to settings, DVD drive, mount an image, browse it to my desktop, which is here, and there's the ISO. So we're going to click OK on that. I'm going to connect to the virtual machine, and start it, and hopefully it's got enough RAM to work, as my server's only got about 8 gig of RAM, so it's not got much resource, but it's just a 1U old server. Yeah, so I haven't got quite enough RAM, so let's just edit it down a little bit. So RAM, just turn off the dynamic and start again. Okay, so we've managed to get it to run, and press enter on English, install Ubuntu. What I might do in a second, once we're going to go past the initial setup, then I'm going to pause the video because obviously it could take 20 minutes to load. Oh, less maybe. Here we go. Right, initial settings coming up. Okay, so all we've done so far is turn on the virtual machine that's pointed at the ISO. Okay, so it's going to ask us what language. Well, I'm going to pick English because I'm not very good at any other language. And continue, don't want any updates or third party. I'm going to erase and install Ubuntu, so that's fine. It's an empty virtual disk, so it doesn't matter. Obviously if you're doing it on a PC, it would be wiping off Windows or whatever else you've got on that machine. Enter again. Let's see if I get the mouse to work on this. Right. I want to click that I'm in the UK. There we go. And continue. It's a bit stuttery on the virtual machine. Well, I'm remoting to my machine and then getting onto the virtual machine. Right, the username I'm going to use is admin1 because admin as a default is already taken usually. And I'm going to call the machine add-block. And then I'm going to put a password in, which doesn't matter what it is as long as it's something good. And then I'm going to tick log on automatically. In my case, it doesn't have to, but I'm going to do that because there's only me going to be going on this machine. And I'm going to pause the video now because that's going to take a little while to actually install, so I'll be back in a minute. Right, it's getting there. It's just doing the last install parts. Right, looks like it's just getting towards the end now. It's installing the grub installer, which is the boot part of the install. Okay, so it's now finished the install, and we're going to press restart now, and then we've got to undo the CD-ROM media. This doesn't always work until it's actually gone off, but let's see. Media. Yeah, it's not letting me eject it yet. Try again now. Media. Eject the disk. Okay, same, press enter. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn the machine off, I think. Let's just try pressing enter, but it doesn't normally work. So turn the machine off. And then I'm going to remove the media. Let's make sure it's gone. It's undone. Okay, so now we can turn the machine back on. Okay, we're just waiting for it to boot up now. Okay. Right, first thing we're going to do is open up a terminal window. So to do that you click the search at the top, and this can take a little while depending on how fast the machine is, because it's got to index it. Obviously I'm limited on my RAM on this machine. Okay, so there's the terminal. And when the terminal opens, it opens in your local home folder. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type cd space ... which is change directory, and then cd space ... again. So we're now in the root. So now if we go ls, which is the same as dir in Windows, gives you a listing of what files are on there. Okay. So the first command we're going to run is we're going to install something called git. Now I have to type sudo, which basically runs as administrator or root, apt get, so apt-get, and it's a program called git. Okay, here we go. Put your Ubuntu password that you set at the beginning in there, and oh, missed a command, idiot. There we go. Maybe we need to do sudo apt get update first. So you can go off and get the details from the repositories. All the instructions will be in the description below the video, so don't think you need to remember everything. Come on. Okay, let's try out the command again then. Fingers crossed. Oh look, it works now. Okay. Now, when that command's installed, we should be able to download Pihole from the GitHub repository. Well, I'm just going to open up this file on my desktop so I can remember the command. So it is this command here we're going to run next. Okay. Right, so it is sudo git clone -dep. Oh, getting a bit of carriage return on that. Depth 1, and then it's HTTPS, and it was what? I'll have to look again. Brain's gone. GitHub.com. Okay. .com/pihole/pihole.git, and then it was something after that which I can't remember. Oh yeah, and the directory it's going into, which is capital P-I-hole. So that's basically going to get the files and copy them onto the device. So we can find if it's done it by going ls. Now you can see a folder there called Pihole. So we're going to go change directory to capital P-I-hole, and then we're going to ls into that, and we're going to go change directory to auto. If you type auto and then tab, it finishes the rest of the command off for you. Now we can go ls again. Okay, so now we're going to use that basic-install.sh to install it. So it's sudo, so we're running as root or administrator, bash, which should execute this, and then it's basic. Again, you don't have to type the whole thing, just type a bit of it and press tab, then press enter. Now you need to set aside on your network an IP that is free that you're going to install this Pihole onto. In my case, it's going to be 192.168.5.6. There we go. Right, we're getting into the install. The rest of it's pretty straightforward, so hopefully you'll be able to follow this quite easily. Okay, it's installed a few extra parts onto your Ubuntu that it needs, like DNS. So press enter, press enter, press enter, and we're going to use the Google DNSs. You could use, I mean in my case I'm on Virgin Media, so I could use 194.168.4.100, but Google ones usually work. So I'm just going to click OK on that IPv6 and IPv4. I'm not necessarily using IPv6, but it doesn't hurt to have it on there. But I'm going to change the IP because the dynamic one it's given is, as you can see, 192.168.5.102, and I want to change it to 5.6. Okay, and then press OK. I'm just pressing tab to get to the OK. And my gateway is 5.10, so that's fine. In your case, it might be your router, which is usually like 192.168.0.1 or 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.1.254, but we'll see. So are these correct? Yes. And I'm just going to click OK on that as well, so it actually does the queries. Right, now I'm just going to let it do its configuration. It's installing a few other bits, Perl and all sorts by the looks of things. Some PHP. It's a little web server because you can get to the configuration settings through a web page once it's loaded, which in my case will be 192.168.5.6/admin, and in a minute it's going to give us the option to change the password. So it's downloading all the updated files to block, and there's the configuration at the end and the password, which I'm going to change because I'm not going to remember that password. So once you've got that down, I'm going to press OK, and it's starting the service, and that should be ready to block now. So it's not configured on any of the machines yet, that's something else we've got to do, but let's just do this first. So Pihole, and if you just press enter it tells you the commands. So I'm going to go Pihole -a -p, and then I'm going to put it as password, and that's going to be my new password. It's just password with a capital P. There you go, new password set. Let's just see if this is actually working. So if I go nslookup, that'll take us into like a DNS checker, and if I go to 888.com, yeah, if you can see the result of 888.com is 192.168.5.6, which means that it's not going out the building, where if it was the proper address it'd be 92. something. So we can press Control C to come out of this, so we know the actual Pihole is working now. Let's just check. If I open up Chrome on my Windows server, we should be able to get to the web page of the Pihole. So 192.168.5.6/admin. There we go. So that's the actual files that it's going to block, and this is how many it's blocked today already, which is a little bit a lot. Well, I suppose it's 50% out of 2. I'm going to log in. So that's the password we've just used. Password. And log in. And you get a few pie charts and a few graphs of all that kind of stuff. You can set whitelists, blacklists of sites. Query log will actually show you the addresses that it's tried to go to today. So there's the one I tried manually and it blocked it. In the settings, you can go down the page. Here's your upstream DNS servers. You can actually change those. I'm actually going to change mine to my Virgin Media one. Yeah, .8.4.100. Typed it wrong, let me do it again. 194.168.4.100. And then I'm going to save that. I'm going to still leave the Google as the second one, but hopefully the Virgin Media DNS will be quicker than the Google one, although it's not going to be much in it. And then I'm just going to type restart DNS server. Okay, so now what we've got to do is implement so that my site and all my devices use the Pihole as their DNS. Now I'm not going to actually change, because I've got a server, I've actually got DNS running. You could actually change your DHCP on your router so that it points to your Pihole first. In my case, I'm just going to change the forwarders off so that this is at the top. There's my Pihole. I'm going to put that at the top, and I'm actually going to remove the other two now. So I've only got the Pihole as the forwarder. I've also unticked root hints. So in theory, if I do clear cache, scavenge stale records, and perhaps even do a restart of my DNS server, what should be happening now when I actually go to my browser and I go to 888.com, hopefully, yep, the website is blocked. So that's a quick test to see if it's working. But now let's just see if I can get on the net normally. So I'm going to go youtube.com. So if I can get on YouTube, there we go, and that's probably blocked a few ads and things already on here. So back to the Pihole console, we can see that there's been another block of what's gone on. So we can go to the query log, and we can actually see all the websites it went onto now. Again, you've got your blocked website there. That's pretty much it. If you didn't have your own DNS server and you wanted to change it permanently on your device, you could go into your network settings and go onto your local area network or LAN properties and into your fixed IP, and down here you would put the Pihole's address as your first DNS, and that would do it. Again, you could force the DHCP on your router to do it, or in my case I've got an actual DHCP server. So again, you could go into your DHCP on your server, go into scope options, maximize this out, and your first DNS server, again, you could be the Pihole if you wanted to separate it out. You could put your forwarder in your Pihole to your actual internal as well, so that you can actually see the individual devices getting addresses. But in my case, I want all my devices inside the house, iPads, Android TV boxes, whatever I've got, to actually use the Pihole. So it's, all those things are getting blocked that would normally pop up with adverts or pictures. So that is it, guys, really. There's if you did want to actually go onto some of the Google ads, let's say we went to Google search and we search for something. Here's a good example, Aruba Wi-Fi access point, and we went into shopping. At the moment, when I click on this, it shows me the actual device, but when I go shop, it gets blocked. Sometimes. Ha! Not today, typically. Unless I've already done the exclusion, but I don't think I have. Well, that's working today, so who cares? But what you do normally, it's normally using Google Ad Services. So if you go back into our Ubuntu, log in with your password you used on your thing, and we're going to go cd space.dart, cd space.dart, cd space.dart. So we're actually in the root, and then we're going to go change the directory to etc. We're going to go ls. Now you can see there's a folder in there called Pihole, so we're going to go cd pi tab. Okay, and then we go ls. Now there's some lists in here. The one I want to edit is called gravity.list. So what we do on that, we'd go sudo nano, which is edit, and then gravity with a tab. So that actually brings me up the files. Now I'm going to use a search in this nano, which is Control W, and I'm going to type Google. Oh, a little bit of carriage return again. Ads. I'm just going to go to Google Ads SE. I think it's service, but I'm just going to search with that. That comes up with. Oh, I missed the letter out on my Control V again. Google ADSE. Okay, so the first thing it found is that 4 thing. I'm going to miss that one out. I'm going to go Control W again and enter. We should find the second one, which is the feed ads, which I'm going to leave. Then Control W for the 3rd time. That actually comes to Google Ad Services. Now if you go to the front of that line, and we can rem it out by doing a colon. I'm going to go space colon just to be sure I can spot it. So that's actually remmed out. Now to save the changes, you go Control X, and then it says do you want to save it, you just go yes or Y, and press enter. Okay, and now if we go back to the Pihole administrator's site and just do the restart again on the DNS, so into settings. You'd think you could put it in the whitelist, but it doesn't seem to work. That's the only way I've managed to get it to allow Google Ad services to still work. So go back to the main page, and even though this did work, I have had it in the last week where the services were being, well, it was actually ad services were being blocked. So I don't know why it just decided to work suddenly on that one. Oh, I've got actually a uBlock on here as well. So let's disable that. There we go, that's taken us into that. I should be able to just turn this off temporarily. Somewhere. Right, one last thing I'm going to show you guys is how to connect to this Pihole from a program called WinSCP. So what we've got to do is get onto terminal again and open that up. Okay, and we're going to go, this time we're going to go sudo apt get install open SSH-server. Put in the Ubuntu's password again that we set at the beginning, and then just going to click yes to install the server. While that's installing, what I'm going to do is go on to a site called gnome and look down the list here. There's two things we want. There's this WinSCP and putty, and go get your gnome. That should open up a little program. And when that's opened up, you just run it, and that will actually install those two programs onto your PC. If you go show details, it will show the install of it. This basically allows us, putty allows us to do this console, terminal console from the PC or from somewhere else in your building or house. And the WinSCP actually shows you the files as well. So the first thing we've got to do, now it's installed, is go cd space dot dot, cd space dot dot. We've got to just change some security bits. Okay, so we want to go to cd etc, cd ssh, and then list. Now we've got to edit, so sudo nano sshd_config. Okay, and now we've got to go down the file, it's not too far down. There's this thing where it says permit root login. Go across on that, and we need to substitute what's there for yes. So we need to now delete what's after that. Okay, and then Control X and yes to save the changes. And then we need to restart that, so it's sudo service SSH restart, which takes less than a second to do. So that's restarted, We now need to set the password for root as well, so I'm going to go sudo password, or passwd, root, and then press enter, and then set it. If it asks you for your normal password, oops, carriage return went mad again. So it might ask you for your Ubuntu password first, and then it's the new root password twice. Once that's done, that's updated successfully. So now if we go back to Windows and we install WinSCP, just run that. Okay, and on here we can go to 168. Let's go with a new one, shall we? As you can see, I've used this before. So new site 192.168.5.6 and root and the password I just used, and then log in. So if it worked, we should have to see the files. There we go. So if we wanted to edit that file now, the Pihole one, you can actually do it from somewhere else in the building now. So gravity list, so you can actually edit that now from here. So this is all the sites that are blocked, and again we can find in this list Google Ads. That should take us down to the sites. You can see all the sites that are blocked. Again, just to rem them out, if there's a site you decide you really want to get to, you can just put a colon in front of it. So you just search for one with a colon. Okay, let's go back to the top. And find again. So it's Google Ad. So that's the first one to miss. That's the second one. Third one. I forgot we're actually searching upwards. So right at the top. Oh, you can come out of that. So any changes you wanted to make, you could make in there. Here's your whitelist. So we've got a few things in there. Like the Google Ad Services in there. Hopefully that will help somebody. You can also go to, from here, you can actually go to putty. And then your password. So again, rather than have to do it actually on your box, you can actually do stuff from here, ls or cd space.dart. So it gives you kind of a bit of a remote access. There's the files. So that's it really, guys. There's nothing else I really need to show you. We've proved it works. Give it a go. If this has helped you in any way, give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.